I'm Erin Stagg. I'm a Métis artist from Prince George, BC. I grew up knowing that I'm Métis. My mom always raised me in that knowledge. She is from Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. Our people came up from Red River and moved north to Meadow Lake, which is where my grandparents are from and where my biggest ancestral connection is to. MNBC gave me a bit of support when I went to university. I went and I studied biology and physical geography, so not art whatsoever. I went and I wanted to learn more about the land and more about how the environment works. I initially wanted to go into environmental consulting, and then I did that work and I was working for like oil and gas, and I was like, this is not for me. After that, I went and I started art, and that is where you find me today. Last summer, I went on a road trip with my mom and my little daughter, who was just 9 months old, and we went and saw the places that I've never seen, the places that we're from, because I grew up out here in BC. And so I never really had a context for where we came from, because my mom grew up in Meadow Lake, so she knew and she could tell me stories. We got to see a lot of the context, right? Like, where did we come from? And so when I was out there just staring at the prairies for endless hours and hours, eventually I came to this conclusion that I wanted to come home and tell the story for my brothers and sisters, because I knew that I would never be able to actually fully tell them what I'd learned. And so I painted it. I painted some of our family story to help tell it, right? And when I was learning it, I realized that lots of our family story is a Métis story. Like, it's a very iconically Métis. I never really realized how Métis we were until I saw it all in context. One of my mentors taught me the style of painting that I do. It's not a Métis style because I didn't grow up with any Métis artists near me. I started with something a little different, so that's kind of come from some of my mentors, and my elders have taught me about culture, and they help inform the threads of meaning that I see through the culture. And then I try and take my style, which can be eclectic, like I can do different things, and I try and put them together. My goal is to make art until I can't. It's like a natural thing for me. And so any way that I can keep doing that as my career, I will find a way. I will adapt and figure it out. The reason that I wanted to apply for the Nakaatchihtow grant in the first place was because it provided this unparalleled opportunity to actually take this huge abstract concept and bring it into reality. Because the way that I was working before, it's very much like do one painting and then sell that painting, just one at a time. It wasn't a big abstract idea that required a lot of moving pieces in order to be made. So without the grant, I really couldn't have brought this to life. But it came on the heels of this really special painting for me. I painted my Métis sash. I submitted it to the Salt Spring National Art Prize, and it actually won first prize in People's Choice. It started this style for me that I really wanted to keep exploring, and that's what I've done with this collection, is to keep that one idea I started, keep it going. I love what it's done for me, because now I get to look at all these pieces and I don't just get to see my grandpa's Zach over there or my mom's moccasins right here. I get to see my own style also evolving and setting me up for the future. Because now I can look back at this and I can show people and be like, look what I can do. And use that to get more opportunities for the future. My journey has been a really interesting one, because I think that people often see an artist who does something in a realistic style and they think they went to art school. I did not go to art school. I found this path the long way around. And I think what's really useful about that for other people who might be artists, like in their soul, is that you can take the pieces of your life and you can find a way to stitch it together into art. You don't have to follow like a prescribed path. I spent a lot of time not in Métis territory, but in carrier territory, in the Nakaatchihtow territory. So I learned about the plants from the Nakaatchihtow people. I learned about their medicinal plants. I learned about their traditions. I come about my worldview in a different way than other people do. It's very specific to this region. And I think that's really beneficial. That's what will be going on in my work in the future. This work has a lot to represent Saskatchewan, but my future work will very much reflect BC, but through my eyes, because I love like plants. That's what I went to school and studied. I love medicinal things, and that's like you get to bring all of that together as an artist, and I think that's the best part.